We're counting down the 42 greatest WrestleMania moments of all time, and today we're witnessing a moment that changed everything. When Bret Hart stepped into the WrestleMania ring, he wasn't just fighting for a championship. He was fighting to prove that technical excellence, wrestling mastery, and pure athletic ability could carry someone to the very top of professional wrestling. Today on WWE Express, we're celebrating the moment Bret Hart was crowned WWE Champion, a victory that would redefine what it meant to be a wrestling champion. In professional wrestling, there are moments that matter. There are victories that feel significant not just in the moment but for years to come. Bret Hart's championship victory at WrestleMania represents exactly that kind of moment. This wasn't a surprise upset. This wasn't an underdog story in the traditional sense. Instead, this was the culmination of a journey where everything aligned perfectly. The timing was right, the preparation was flawless, and the wrestler in question had earned his opportunity through excellence and consistency. To truly understand the magnitude of Bret Hart claiming the WWE Championship at WrestleMania, you have to understand the landscape of professional wrestling at that time. The industry was evolving. The demands on wrestlers were changing. Audiences were becoming more sophisticated in their understanding of wrestling psychology and in-ring storytelling. They wanted more than just big moves and impressive athleticism. They wanted wrestlers who could tell stories, who could make them believe in near falls, who could structure matches like experienced storytellers rather than just athletic performers going through sequences. Bret Hart embodied everything the wrestling world needed in a champion. He represented a different philosophy than some of the biggest names in wrestling. Where others relied on size and power, Hart brought technical wrestling to the forefront. His matches were structured with precision. Every movement had purpose. Every hold served a function in the larger narrative of the match. He understood that professional wrestling was about selling emotion, about making the audience believe in the struggle, about making them feel the weight of championship ambition. The path to this championship victory wasn't easy. Bret Hart had to prove himself in a way that transcended just winning matches. He had to prove that audiences would follow him as a top-tier wrestler. He had to show that the Hart family name, while legendary, wouldn't carry him. Instead, he had to establish his own legacy based on his own abilities. Every match leading up to WrestleMania was about proving that he belonged in the main event picture, that he had what it took to be the face of the company. What made WrestleMania as the stage for this championship victory so perfect is that WrestleMania represents the biggest platform professional wrestling has to offer. It's where legacies are made. It's where wrestlers step up to the highest level and prove they have what it takes to compete on the grandest stage of them all. For Bret Hart, this championship victory at WrestleMania wasn't just about winning gold. It was about announcing to the entire world that he was ready to be the #1 wrestler in the company. The championship match itself was a display of professional wrestling at its finest. From the opening bell, you could sense the intensity and the significance of what was happening. Every near fall was credible. Every reversal was executed with precision. The storytelling in that match reflected everything that made Bret Hart special as a professional wrestler. He controlled the pace. He worked different parts of his opponent's body throughout the contest. He built to moments that made the audience believe a championship could change hands at any second. One of the most fascinating aspects of Bret Hart as a champion is his understanding of selling. In professional wrestling, selling is everything. It's what makes audiences invest in matches. It's what makes them believe the stakes are real. Bret Hart could sell the punishment he was taking without ever looking weak. He could take a beating and still come across as a warrior, as someone who was going to find a way to win despite the odds. That's a skill that takes years to develop, and Bret Hart had perfected it. The Hart Foundation had built a tremendous reputation before Bret stepped into the championship picture as a singles competitor. His father Stu Hart had revolutionized professional wrestling in Canada. His brother and family members had carried on that legacy. But for Bret Hart to truly make his own mark, he had to step beyond the faction and prove himself as an individual performer. His championship victory at WrestleMania represented that moment where Bret Hart, the singles wrestler, was ready to carry the company on his shoulders. When Bret Hart was crowned WWE Champion at WrestleMania, it sent a clear message throughout the wrestling world. This was a champion who represented technical excellence. This was someone who would defend the championship against all comers and who would do so in a way that elevated everyone he faced. That standard of excellence became the hallmark of his championship reign. The significance of this moment extended to how it influenced the entire wrestling industry. It showed that you could build the biggest wrestling company in the world around someone whose strength was technical wrestling rather than sheer size or overwhelming power. It proved that audiences would follow a champion who made them believe in every match, who made every opponent look credible, who understood ring psychology at the highest level. Bret Hart's championship victory also represented a generational shift in professional wrestling. The company was moving into a new era where in-ring ability would be more valued than ever before. Where wrestlers who understood the subtleties of professional wrestling, who could work 20, 30, or 40-minute matches and keep audiences engaged the entire time, would become the standard-bearers of the profession. The wrestling world has seen many championship victories, but there's something uniquely special about Bret Hart's championship moment at WrestleMania. Perhaps it's because it represented the triumph of excellence. Perhaps it's because it showed that wrestling mastery could take you to the very top of the profession. Or perhaps it's simply because this was a moment where everything aligned perfectly: the right wrestler, at the right time, on the right stage, to prove that he was absolutely ready to be the champion. Looking at Bret Hart's championship reign, it became clear that his victory at WrestleMania was just the beginning of something truly special. He would go on to defend the championship with the kind of consistency and excellence that made him one of the most respected champions in WWE history. Every challenger he faced knew they were stepping into the ring with someone who understood wrestling at a level they might never reach. The legacy of Bret Hart's championship victory extends far beyond that single WrestleMania moment. It influenced how wrestlers approached their craft. It showed young competitors that technical wrestling, that understanding psychology, that perfecting the fundamentals of professional wrestling, these things mattered at the highest level. It created a standard of excellence that would influence wrestlers for generations to come. For the WWE Universe, Bret Hart's championship victory at WrestleMania remains one of the most significant and meaningful championship victories in company history. It was a moment that said something important about what professional wrestling could be when performed at the absolute highest level. It was a validation of technical excellence in a business that sometimes gets caught up in spectacle and size. When we look at the 42 greatest WrestleMania moments of all time, Bret Hart's championship victory stands among the most important. It was a transformative moment. It was a moment where excellence was rewarded. It was a moment where a wrestler who had worked tirelessly to perfect his craft finally reached the pinnacle of professional wrestling achievement. And it happened on the biggest stage, in front of the biggest audience, in a match that showcased everything that makes professional wrestling a legitimate art form. WWE Express is celebrating all the legendary moments that have defined WrestleMania throughout its incredible history. Make sure you're subscribed to WWE Express and hit that notification bell so you never miss our detailed analysis of the greatest WrestleMania moments, the legendary champions, the incredible wrestlers, and the storytelling that has made professional wrestling the most captivating form of entertainment in the world. We'll be continuing our countdown of the greatest WrestleMania moments, exploring the legendary matches, and celebrating the wrestlers who've made this industry what it is today. Thanks for watching WWE Express, and we'll see you next time.